Ah, hello, my dear friends. Although Burns Night has been a tradition in my life for over 10 years, through piping and hosting Scotch tastings right here at the Leduc Historic Estate, I myself have never given or attended a complete Burns supper with dinner, toasts, and entertainment. I figured this year was as good as any for a proper Burns supper, and I'm so delighted to have you all join me for this occasion. Now, the Immortal Memory Toast. It's foundational to the very tradition of Burns Night, stretching all the way back to the first Burns Supper in 1801. In its traditional form, it is the high point of a Burns Supper, where an invited orator delivers a lengthy exploration of Burns's life and his work, extolling his wisdom and his wit. Tonight, I'd like to pay tribute to the poet in a slightly different manner, but I'd be remiss if I didn't offer a brief biological sketch. So, follow me. The library. Just the ticket. Now, Robert Burns led a life of both great acclaim and great adversity. While his poetry achieved international recognition during his own lifetime, he struggled financially, had poor health, and he died at the age of 37. Born to tenant farmers, he received a modest education, and he worked as a farmer his entire adult life, a fact immortalized in his epithet, the Plowman Poet. A self-confessed philanderer, Burns's love affairs were well documented, and he had 9 children with his wife Jean Armour, 2 of them before they were married, and at least 3 more children with different women. Jean once remarked that our Robbie should have had 2 wives. Through the 5 of his children who survived to adulthood, Burns has over 900 living descendants today. His work caught the attention of the Edinburgh establishment, and he found favour with Scottish Enlightenment thinkers. His poetry ranged from political commentary and love songs to pithy observations and epitaphs. Today he remains a celebrated figure in Scotland and is affectionately known as the Bard. Now in 1864, with the tradition of Burns suppers already well established here in the United States, Abraham Lincoln was invited to deliver the Immortal Memory Toast at the Washington Burns Club annual supper. Although he was well known for his love of Burns's poetry, he declined and said, "I cannot frame a toast to Burns. I can say nothing worthy of his generous heart and transcendent genius. Thinking of what he has said, I cannot say anything worth saying." So, tonight, in Lincoln's spirit, I'd like to honor the Bard by introducing you instead to the poet Janet Little. Janet Little was a Scottish poet contemporaneous with Burns. In fact, they were born the very same year. She also came from working class origins, had a limited education, and due to her employment at the Loudon Castle Dairy, she was known as the Scotch Milkmaid. And that's Scotch as in Scottish, not Scotch as in whiskey. Through a mutual literary patron, she secured an introduction to Burns, who, impressed with her writing, helped arrange for the publication of her poetry in 1792. Now, I confess I had not heard of Janet until recently, but I was struck at the similarity of both their circumstances and their writing. Burns and Little's writing is so similar that it almost seems indistinguishable. Janet, too, makes pithy observations, uses classical allusions, and in the poem that I'm going to read for you, she matches the amorous energy that Burns was all too well known for. Is it true, or does some magic spell my wandering eyes beguile? Is this the place where deigns to dwell the honour of our isle? The charming Burns, the muse's care, of all her sons the pride, this pleasure oft I've sought to share, and been as oft denied. Oft have my thoughts At midnight hour, to him excursions made. This bliss in dreams was premature, and with my slumbers fled. 'Tis real now, no vision here bequeaths a poignant dart. I'll view the poet ever dear, whose lays have charmed my heart. Hark! Now he comes, a dire alarm re-echoes through his hall. Pegasus kneeled, his rider's arm was broken by a fall. The doleful tidings to my ears were in harsh notes conveyed. His lovely wife stood drowned in tears, while thus I pondering said, no cheering draught, with ills unmixed, can mortals taste below. All human fate by heaven is fixed, alternate joy and woe. With beating breast I viewed the bard, all trembling did him meet. With sighs bewailed his fate so hard, whose notes were ever so sweet. And so with that, I'd like to ask you to join me in a toast to Robert Burns, to Janet Little, and to all those who find themselves in the care of the muses. Sláinte.